children is something that we all should purpose in our hearts to do.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about things that I would like to say to my sons. And I did get to say a lot of things to them. And I talked to Terry Bailey. I know I always knew that we both love them dearly. And if I could think of today what they might say to me, is Dad, be strong. Keep doing right. Keep standing for the Lord, even if it means you have to stand alone. And I thought, especially the day that they were born, some things that struck me, and that is, I was reading Matthew chapter 18 about verse 10 says, "Take heed that you despise not one of these little ones, for I say unto you that in heaven their angels do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven." And if they could say anything to us today as a living testimony, number one, it would be, trust God like I do. You say, well, what does that mean? Well, verse 3 says, "Verily I say unto you, except you be converted and become as little children, you shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven." Can we be small again? No. But our heart can be like the heart of a small child. And unless we have a childlike faith in Christ, we can't go to heaven. I'm not saying that. The Bible said that. Christ said that. Unless we humble ourselves in humility and come to the end of ourselves as a little child who puts their full trust in mom and dad. We put our full trust in Christ as little children in humility, trusting Him for everything. So I think they would say, trust God like a little child, like we did. And then they were worrying, the disciples were worrying about who was going to be the greatest in the kingdom. Man, that should never be anything that's in our mind, who's going to be the greatest. Because we should be servants to one another. And the day that we found out that Josiah's heart had quit beating, I realized what kind of sons I had. One that was willing to sacrifice himself for his brother's good, even in the womb. And if they could give us anything today, we should be willing to give ourselves completely and unconditionally and sacrificially for others. It's not about us. If we take care of ourselves at all times, and we wonder who's the greatest, who has the most position in life, then we've missed it all, because it's about loving other people unconditionally and being willing to sacrifice ourselves if we have to for their good. And then, the last thing that I would give you today, a message from our sons, not only to be as little children and have faith in God, and to love unconditionally and to give ourselves. But when Ezra realized that Josiah had given himself, the last ultrasound, he had his arms around him. Grateful for the gift that was a gift. And God helped me to be grateful for all the good that has come into my life and live in such a way